Welcome to the Kpopcast. I'm your K-pop DJ PLo, and I'm joined by our new permanent member, Ariana. Welcome, Ariana.
Hey, so glad to be back and really glad to be talking about somebody other than BTS. So really excited about this.
Well, welcome aboard, Ariana.
Thanks, I'm so excited. Today we're going to be looking through the eyes of GOT7's new release, Look. Letting
you know if these songs are Taebak or not.
But before we dive into that, let's get our hit replays.
Hit replays are songs we recommend you play on repeat or replay for the week. So Ariana, tell me, what's making you hit replay?
This week for me, it's all about Heize.
Yes.
Heize? I've never known how to say it, but
I was in the same boat last week.
She is just wonderful. I love everything she releases, but this time I'm just absolutely obsessed with MIANHAE. It's a really amazing song. I feel like she does this like really cool thing of hitting this like really simple musical backing, but she is able to do something really beautiful and unique with her voice in it. And I thought that like not only was her voice featured well, but like the actual rapping was just incredible. On top of that, I really like the lyrics, which is basically like that part of an argument that you hear a couple have where like the girl's like, I'm sorry for even having emotions. Right. So I thought that was a really cool like version of the song that was coming like from Heize on that. And I just think on top of all of that, you have like one of the coolest videos I've ever seen, which is also my worst fear.
No, it was such a provocative music video. I am like so with you on this because like this was when I saw you put this in, I was like, dang it, like she took my hit replay.
It's one of those things that like I want to listen to the song, but anytime I hear the song, I want to see the video too.
Yes.
But also because it's one of my deepest fears, which is a robot coming to its like own like realization of its creation and self-awareness. It was just really cool, and I'm really all in on it. What about you?
Oh man, so maybe you've been to the internet, but in case
I have been there.
So maybe you've seen it, right? Because you've been to the internet. Maybe you've seen cats online, right? But if you haven't been to the internet yet, there's this group called Celeb Five. It's basically all these comedians, and they did their cover of the song "I Wanna Be a Celeb," and like. If you see this, it's impossible to be disappointed by the song and the concept. Once I saw this performed by the Japanese TDC dance crew, like I had no idea how much I could learn to love like late 80s like women's office attire. Like I really can't say too much. You just have to watch it. We'll link the performance version. And it's also a great song, so there's that too. And the comedians covering it did a great job, but just watch the dance cover version.
The choreo is amazing.
Yes. Yes.
Well, moving on, we're going to hit our Taebak or not for GOT7's Look. Okay, so I guess we could start with the video.
Yeah.
I felt in general the concept was pretty simple. I mean, it didn't seem like too complicated. There wasn't like, I know it's GOT7, so there's probably something underneath it that I might not be getting, but it doesn't seem like as complicated as I would say the flight log. It doesn't seem as deep as that.
It seems self-contained, right? Like flight log was a trilogy. This is like, okay, it's its own standalone piece.
Yeah, it was interesting because with their last release, Teenager, they didn't even release a video. They just did a performance video. And I felt like you could have done that with this song, but I also kind of really like this video too, because the simplicity of it seems somehow to lend itself a little bit better to the song. And I also just think it like lends itself to how awesome the choreo is.
Yeah.
But just going into the concept, what are some of your thoughts on it?
Well, one thing that like was apparent right away, the song is called Look. So who is looking at whom? And I think we're meant to take it as it's the AHGASES looking at their favorite boys. And the framing right from the beginning is two eyelids opening, right? So you have the horizontal black lines opening, like much like eyelids that you're looking into them.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it goes deep into the lyrics of like, you look at me, I look at you, look in your eyes. It's very much about like this like relationship, and I like the relationship with their fans in a way. I also think that with all of the different locations the guys were in, you know, they're about to go on this huge world tour. So it could be just particularly to their Korean fans, but in general, I think what they're saying is we're about to be away for some time, but like we're completely here for you. We're always going to be here. We're always going to be coming back. And I think that's a really nice message, especially for the fact that they're about to go away for a while. I mean, they're coming out here, so we get to see them here, but they're going to be away from other fans when they're out here, you know? But they're always like there in their hearts. If you just look at them, they're there, you know?
It's funny. I'm not a hardcore, solidcore AHGASES fan, but I feel like this song and music video is designed to be like just for the fans, you know? It's meeting all those tropes that AHGASES can recognize and relate to.
Exactly. I also just feel like this was like 100% about the visuals and like fan service. Like it was all about, you know, like I said, you literally could just make this a performance video, except for the fact that there's just like this amazing visual component of having like each boy have their own scene with a green screen, and then having like these like beautiful lingering close-ups on their face. I think Youngjae has like a like less saturated color palette, but like all the boys have this like beautiful color palette behind them other than him. And I have to say this, I was really upset when I saw JB had a mullet, but somehow he really, really pulls it off. It's like, I can't handle the K-pop mullet, but he somehow looks great with it, and it makes me angry.
Wow, I was gonna ask you about that, Ariana, because like for me as a dude, like I wasn't feeling it. I was like, what is going on? Like what is like JYP thinking, Papa JYP thinking, like making one of his boys wear a mullet?
Yeah. Okay, so I have a lot of feelings because like I was so mad when GD had his mullet. I was like, it just like felt like it was trying too hard and he was just trying to be cool. And then like I think Woozy had a mullet for a little while from 17, and I was like, it's just like doesn't really fit. And I'm just like, it's a mullet. We have like connotations in the US about what mullets are. Like it's not cool. It's not something that's gonna trend here. And if it does, like I would be very upset. But somehow
it'd be trending for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I'd be trending for the completely wrong reasons here. But like somehow, I don't know what it is about JB. Like maybe it's the right face shape. He also just doesn't care. Like I think it's just like one of those things that he just like, it's not a big deal. And so for some reason I'm just like, he looks beautiful either way. I guess I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just, you know, high fashion, right? To have the mullet there.
I guess it's like it's similar to the mullet that GD had. And I think with GD, as much as I love him, it just seems like he does it for the fashion, where I feel like JB is just kind of like, yeah, it's whatever, I'm doing a mullet right now. I just decided I'd do just to be different. When I saw the picture, I was like, no. And then I saw the video and I was like, I don't hate it so much. I did tell my boyfriend he is not allowed to have a mullet.
Yeah, fair enough. There you go.
Yeah,
that's not an unreasonable request.
Not allowed. Yeah.
Right. So Ariana, as you were mentioning earlier, like these boys are the center of attention. So our favorite K-pop music video theorist, K-pop junkie, of course, called out that for him and his theory that GOT7 are the light. Throughout this music video, we see all these interior shots as if you're looking at like a crowded mind, right? So you've got a dark environment, it's cluttered, it's decaying, maybe it's crowded with too many people, like a very busy mind. But then the lyrics call for attention to the boys. Like the boys are saying, hey, pay attention to me. And you see them come through with a very literal spotlight. And everything sort of goes away and you see nothing but the boys. They're asking for your undivided attention. And then at the end of the music video, it sort of goes into the reverse effect. What happens when you forget about them, right? And then they sort of go into the background. But I thought that was an interesting concept and an interesting way to illustrate that idea.
Yeah, I thought when you see at the end, the last close-ups where you see, I think some of the boys do this really interesting thing where they seem like they're smiling and they go into this very serious face. It's really interesting of this like idea of like fading away.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I was trying to figure out what that could really mean. So I'm glad K-Pop Junkie was able to help with that.
And throughout the music video, I was looking for it because I know like, okay, this is a GOT7 music video. Somewhere there's got to be a parakeet, like that little blue bird. I was like, where is it? Where is it? I almost went back through it again because like I didn't see it, and then like it came at the very end. I'm like, oh, okay, okay, got it. I can sleep easy at night.
It had to be somewhere.
And what we were saying earlier, Ariana, like this is a song for the I Got Sevens, you know. And the message is calling for that attention just for the boys. And I'm sure all the fangirls are relating to that. And they got the parakeet, like recognizing like, hey, this is for you.
Yeah, exactly. I said like, for me, it's kind of like an ode to the fans. It's this idea of like, we are always here for you and we love you as much as you love us.
Yeah.
This idea of that for, a lot of it you see like no matter how bright it is or how dark it is, GOT7 is going to be there for their fans, and they say it in the lyrics like, I'm ready to go to war with what's bothering you is literally one of the lyrics that I think Jackson has, if you're afraid, look at me, this idea that we're here for you in the dark and the light. And then this, the idea of like, we really do love you as much as you love us. I think that's a really beautiful concept. And it's like no matter what's going on around them in the video, they're focused on their fans looking at them, Look, I'm looking at you and you're looking at me. And I think that's really kind of an interesting thing. Like, obviously
it's two-dimensional. It's going both ways.
Yeah. We're here for you as much as you are here for us. And that's a big thing for a band to say to their fans, It's a really big thing.
It's an interesting way to show that, right? I mean, like, a lot of people can just say like, oh yeah, I appreciate my fans and can't do anything without you guys, right? But this is another way just to show that.
Well, it's also framed like a love song. You could take this and give this to your significant other and say the same thing, but they're saying it to their fans, and you can see that through the video that it's for the fans. It's not for a girl, like a random girl. It's for their fans.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of a model that, other K-pop bands should look to. It's like you want to mobilize or get your fan base really excited in like this K-pop idol paradigm. Like this is how you do it.
I think bands are starting to do like the fan songs a lot more often, which I really enjoy. I like a good fan song. I like a good song dedicated to the people who are there for them all the time. And I think those songs do so well in the concerts. Every time you go to a show, those are the songs that like people know all the lyrics to.
Yeah.
So I think this was a really smart choice for them to also, I was surprised that this is the song they chose to like make a video for, but at the same time, it makes the most sense for what it's saying. When
it came to like the overall like visuals and look of the music video, I kind of felt just a little let down. To me, it seemed a little too similar to previous stuff that we saw from GOT7, and maybe if you like that aesthetic, it works, right? We've seen this from like Never Ever, we've seen it from like You Are, this sort of like very unique fluorescent look in a lot of these interior shots. I feel like we see a lot from GOT7. I don't know, it misses out on some of the fantasy that we get so much in K-pop, but especially from label mates Twice. Because when you look at Twice music videos, I feel like that is such a colorful scenario. It's such a colorful dream. And this, I don't know, it's just maybe because it's just a guy group, but it feels just a little sharper and edgy in texture and visual look that I feel like would do GOT7 well to go with more of that fantasy and dreamlike approach that we see from Twice.
And I don't think we've gotten that for a while with them. They've gone I mean, part of it was the Flight trilogy.
Yeah, there's definitely that, right? They had to maintain that look for the Flight trilogy, but like, the closest we saw to it was Just Right.
Yeah.
Right, and that was definitely a fantasy, and that was something
I love that.
Very
video.
Memorable because of that. Yeah, exactly.
That's another.
And we haven't seen that since.
Yeah, that's another one where I hear the song and I want to see the video because the video is it's iconic. It's an iconic video for them, and I think they're kind of I loved the Flight trilogy, but I don't know if it is something I will remember 5-10 years from now. You know, I might remember the songs, but I don't know if I'll really remember the videos. I don't even think I really remember most of the videos. I do remember Fly a little bit just because of the outfits. Yeah, there's something. I don't know what it is. It's because Twice really does nail their concepts really well and their colorfulness very well. You know, I would love to see it pop back
like you're stepping into a cartoon. Yeah, you know, it's not quite real that way.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a little bit about the movement of boy groups in general, because in general, boy groups are not as colorful right now. Right. You have the occasional pop up of that, but I wonder if that is a trend that we're moving away from. We'll occasionally have, like, you know, SHINee had like their early 90s comeback, you know, with 1+1. Right. You know, you'll have it pop up occasionally. You have BTS DNA. You'll have, even with Big Bang's last comeback, you have somewhat of a color, like a saturation and a colorfulness, but I wouldn't say there's a lot of fantasy involved anymore on the boys section. It's a lot more rare. And even if it's there, it does have, like, it's supposed to have a message, you know, where I think the girls are given a little bit more, like, they can just have fun.
Yeah, it can just be AHGA. Yeah, guys, you gotta have something more than that.
Yeah. What if that's a trend that we're gonna keep seeing, or if we'll go back? You look at me now. Oh, she's only magical. Do the choreo? Yeah, I love the choreo so much. Yes. I think that in general, I don't know, I'm always surprised at how much I love GOT7's choreo, because I typically almost always do. But there is really something special, I feel, about like certain choreo that they do, and I feel like this is one of them. Yes. It's really interesting. I thought it was interesting about how at the beginning they play with like sectionals. Like, it's not all 7 of them dancing together at once in the first section of the song. It's like highlighting different pieces where they're like dancing. You know, there's like maybe a group of 4, maybe a group of 3, maybe a group of 5 dancing together. And then they come together like for the chorus, you know? And I really like that movement that they have in the chorus with they like do like the finger wave into the triangle. Right. The triangle is such like a big deal for them in general. So I thought that was really cool, of like going in from a wave into the movement that they're kind of well known for, you know? Yeah. And doing that, just that like finger motion, like to make it like fluid and good and not just like goofy and small and self-contained and cheesy, I think is really difficult. So like in terms of execution, they did that really well. And they did it several times and I never was like annoyed with it. Right. It looks cool every time. Yeah, and that's not, you know, to be undersaid, right? I would say the same thing about their footwork. Yeah. Right. So it's funny because that pointing motion, like that triangle pointing motion that you'll do with like one leg, we used to do that all the freaking time, and it's like so many Latin ballroom moves, and like especially in salsa too. Like you do that all the time, but it looks so good with these guys here. Like fundamentally, that's not a difficult move, but to do it in a way that's captivating and looks good as a group as a whole, I think is very difficult. Yeah. And that's where they nail it here. Yeah. I also would probably say that another like fan service moment, but also like one of the coolest parts is the Jin Young and Young Jae breakdown during the bridge. Yeah. One, it's just so fascinating what they're doing of this, like, connecting and breaking apart and connecting. But as a fan, I'm sitting there going, like, just touch each other. Like, you're supposed to connect right now. Like, just connect. Like, and then it's just, it paid off, you know? Like, when is it going to happen? Even when it's amazing to say, like, when you see them in the performances on the shows, there's two people and they somehow fill that stage so well with the movement. You know, it's really cool. I mean, they also have the boys sitting around them while they do it, but it's really, you know, they can really fill that space with just that breakdown.
Right.
You know,
Ariana, I don't know if did you catch the Adidas version of the?
That was my favorite version.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the
camera was amazing.
Yeah, that's right. Like, I may not be a fan of their outfits, but in terms of how it was presented, like, it was probably the best take. And on that camera, it was like almost, you know, another member of the band, right? Another member of the group, because the way that camera, it was a choreographed dance member, the way it zoomed in and out, and as it pans, they were like right in with the pulse of the beat. It was like, that's another part of the choreography, just how the camera came in and captured it.
Yeah, I'm actually on the other side. I wanted all of their outfits. I pretty much want to live in those outfits.
Got it.
But yeah, I think that the camera work, and also just they didn't, I mean, you rarely see the camera become such an important part of a performance video. A lot of times it's like far away, and I'm really enjoying that they're moving away from that and making it really engaging, you know?
Yeah.
Where it could be its own video. And then, of course, having like it be full Adidas outfits just was like such a throwback.
You know, I feel like this whole trend of having like the camera more involved for these like dance practice versions, it's becoming an increasingly more serious ordeal. Like, because it used to be like, okay, you just have like a camera up in the
practice room. Yeah.
Right. And you just kind of see them rehearse it, and they do a great job, right? But having it like weave in and out, I think it was like around 2014 when we were starting to see these, but now it's becoming more the bar, more the baseline from what we expect from our K-pop groups.
Well, it's interesting because I think that there have been some videos that have been released that like, they're not even called performance videos, but the whole video is choreography. I think, you know, BTS's Save Me is a really good example where it is 100% about the choreography and the song. And I think it's cool that you're also seeing the trend of like, oh, here's our video, but oh, here's our really awesome, intense, focused, really well camera worked performance video. I think it's a good trend to have. I also think it gives people more views. Yeah, I think that it'll take off more in the US because I think that we're kind of itching for like a good choreo right now.
Yeah, we're certainly lacking in that.
Yeah,
I think
we don't have a lot of media. Yeah, we don't have a lot of like, I would say like Beyonce, but then you don't have a huge amount of bands that are doing full blown choreo right now.
Yeah, and at least for the sake of K-pop, and for this instance in GOT7 in particular, it's another essential part of telling the story. You know, maybe it's not the whole story. Sometimes it can be, but it's like just another lens. It's another frame that you can look at it and digest. You know, the K-pop content.
Yeah, exactly.
With this choreo, I also just want to say, like at the end, just the way they do their quick like signature move, like that I thought was also very iconic. And on the whole, I would just want to say that probably right up there with Fly and If You Do for like being the most memorable songs for the dance for GOT7.
Yeah, for me, my favorite is probably Just Right. And that's
a good one.
Yeah, those are those like, this was one of those ones where I was like, oh, I actually think I could remember these moves as much as I remember Just Right. The other songs, like, you might remember a piece here and there, but I will remember this choreo for a long time. Every time it comes on, I'll think about it. 아무리 널 뜯어봐도 보고 또 봐도 네가 말하는 안 예쁜 부분이 어딘지 그게 어딘지 찾을 수가 없어 난 지금처럼 만만만만만 웃어주면 난난난난난 바랄 게 없으니 넌 아무것도 바꾸지 만만만만만 아무 걱정 만만만만만만 너의 모든 게 다다다다 가져오니까 너는 아무것도 바꾸지 만만만만만 이대로 지금 이대로
So Ariana, what did you think of the song itself, the audio?
I will say the first time I heard it, it was way too many elements for me.
Yeah.
I felt like it was 3 different songs. There was like a dance-heavy aspect. There was like a retro disco funk kind of thing going on. And then there was like this weird hip-hop beat that would drop in for bridges. You know, I will say it did grow on me the more I listened to it. It's definitely something that I enjoy a little bit more. I think it's also, in general, for GOT7, it's definitely a dance-heavy song.
Yes, for them.
Yeah, for them, they don't typically go, so they'll have really awesome choreo, but like not have such a dance-heavy song. But I thought one of my favorite things is what they did with the rap line. I thought the rap line was really interesting in this song and had very unique sounds to them that we don't normally hear. Specifically Mark, who has kind of always been like one of my favorites, but in this song I just thought what they did with his sound was really interesting.
Yeah, same thing that we saw from, I guess, a lot of the visuals itself that is uniquely known for GOT7.
Yeah.
Same thing that we're getting with the audio. There's a lot of sounds that I'm pretty sure no other group would use in K-pop. Like, if I listened to this, like, and I didn't know who produced it, I would be able to tell you right away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a GOT7 track.
I think
JB
JB is the one who wrote this song, so that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That probably explains a lot.
I looked through, this is the only one I could get, like, who wrote what, and he wrote this song.
Okay, that it becomes clear now.
Yeah.
And not that that's always a bad thing, but to me, I think just the random, it's not random. We've heard this for a while from GOT7, but the assortment of samples and instruments used distinctly GOT7, but in this case to me it sounded just a little dissonant.
Yeah.
Like unintentionally dissonant.
Yeah, it just wasn't, it seemed slightly overproduced for me. It was like, oh, let's add in this element, and then let's switch this up here and add in this element, and I thought that there's been a few songs recently that have been released that have been kind of like on my end, like a little, it might be a good song, but a little bit overproduced. And I do think that I like this one a little bit better than a lot of the ones that have been released, but particularly I think that I don't know if it really has, like, it has a place on the album because this album kind of has a similar style to it, but I don't necessarily know if I would put it in like my favorite of the GOT7 discography. Yeah. Well, I guess it's about time. Are we ready to give our final scores?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do this. Okay, so for the concept, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest, how would you rate it?
All right, so for the concept, I think I would give it a 3.5. It was good. I like the message that they're trying to tell. But again, I'm missing the fantasy. Like, that dreamlike state. The stuff that conveys the essence of K-pop. Like, again, like, that's what Just Right did so well, because it was, you'll remember it for that reason. But this one, like, I'm going to forget about it with everything else in the GOT7 Flight trilogy. And the Flight trilogy was great, but in this case, I'm going to kind of forget it.
Ooh, for me, I'm probably going to give it slightly lower, mostly because I don't necessarily think the video was super great. I'm going to go with a 3.3. I think it's a nice concept. I do think it's a really good idea what they did to pick the fan service song. There's a lot of pieces of it that are smart, but do I think like it's the best fan service song? No. I think that there's better ones.
Okay.
And I think that also just like the video is kind of boring for it, but I do really like looking at them, so it gave me that. Okay. And I would have put it as a 3, but the choreo really brought it up for me. That choreo was just so fantastic, and I think that's, if I remember this for anything, I'll remember it for the choreo.
Yep. Moving on to the audio, how would you rate it? 1 to 5.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to knock this down a little bit. I'd probably give it like a 2.9.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like, I do think the song has grown on me a bit. I might bump it up to a 3 point something in the next week or so. If it pops up. Probably not, though.
Yeah. No, just be real. Like,
it It just like doesn't, it's not something that's going to stick with me. I probably like, if this song were to come up on my playlist, I'd be like, pause, I want to go watch Just Right now. Like, that's probably what it's going to be.
Yes, yeah. And Just Right, man, I hate that we keep bringing that up, but at the same time, it's
their bop.
Right, but it reflects a different direction the band could have taken, right?
Yeah.
That's unique to them, that is unique for K-pop.
Yeah.
And this current concept that they've been going with, I feel like they've just been going with it for just a little too long. So, yeah.
What's your score?
Yeah, 2.9 for me as well. So I'm right there
awesome.
with you. Yeah, like it executes, it delivers. It is satisfactory, it's adequate, but it's forgettable.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I hope that I remember it for the choreo, because that choreo is just so good. Right. But yeah, the audio is like not going to stick with me.
Nope. All right, Ariana, with all that has been said, on the whole, is this song Taebak or not? It's just on the line for me. I would say Taebak. I would say Taebak for the choreography. Yeah, like same thing for me. Taebak for the choreography. If you had to flip a coin, between like Taebak and not Taebak, like it fell on its side, like right on the middle, be like between two surfaces of the coin, and then it falls on the Taebak side. It's like, okay, you just barely made it.
You just barely made it, but you made it.
Right.
No money, no car, no Rolex. 하지만 너만으로도 난 만족해. I got you and you got me and we got us. I got you and you got me and we got us.
Leading into this episode for this week, we had a Twitter chat on Twitter, which always happens every Tuesday at noon at #KpopChat, led by our co-host, contributor, Supermatic. And we had some notable tweets from that K-pop chat.
Yeah, we had Nora, who is at TV and Stuff. She also, I think, was kind of on our page a little bit. She said, it's okay. They've had better albums. Love One and Only the Most. GOT7 has a rap line problem. 70% of the time, the rap line feels out of place. And with Look, it got worse, I feel. And she said, I'd say not Taebak. So I guess she's a little bit different than us.
Yeah. We also had another tweet from Twitter user Eyes on Mork T, who tweeted, definitely Taebak. It's an album the members were all satisfied. Maybe all satisfied with. The title, Look, was composed by GOT7's leader, JB. This has a different feel because the diversity is their strength for sure. And I think that goes with what you were referencing earlier, Ariana. Like, each member gets a moment to shine. And that carries through. And
lastly, we had at Sam AHGASES. He says, I love Look. GOT7's tracks have musically and lyrically gotten better as they've more creative control. Eyes on You is great because it's the mix of two of my favorite albums of 2017, 7 for 7 and Verse 2. And I think that is true. I would probably say lyrically for me, it's definitely gotten better. They've gotten really interesting lyrics. I do think that I would say the JJ project is my favorite part of their whole breakdown. So, and I think it's because JB and Jin Young write some really good music, and I like that they're taking over a little bit. JJ project.
Oh man, yeah, JJ project.
So good.
We all love JJ project. Yes.
Oh, and signing off. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and tell your friends.
Yes, listen to Kpopcast when you're on the go, when you're cooking, doing laundry, cleaning.
Best time to do it.
Yes, that's right. So signing off, Ariana, whose quote-unquote look did you like the most in the music video?
Oh, I hate to say it, I really love my JB's look. It's not even just about the fact that he's got the mullet, it's just the scenery behind him is like so perfect. I loved it so much. And you can reach me on Twitter at Ariana_Y_con. What about you, PLo?
It's probably the most pedestrian look, but I think Park Jin Young himself looks really good in this. And, it's no frills, but just the right look. This coming from a straight guy. I don't. Yeah, but I think maybe I was chanting him all through the Flightlag trilogy.
He came back with that JJ project.
But yes, he carries it. Yes, yeah. And he delivers here. And you can follow me at DJ PLo on Twitter. Don't forget to tell us your answer to this week's question just by giving us a tweet at the Kpopcast. We'll catch you all again next week. Each member gets a moment to shine.
And they do that got well. They do that got well. They do that really well.